Letting go of mental clutter begins not with force, but with awareness. In the quiet moments of stillness, where no obligation pulls at your sleeve and no voice demands your attention, you begin to notice how much noise lives within. Thoughts swirl, memories surface, worries replay like broken records. But Zen teaches that the mind is not a container to be filled, but a sky to be cleared. Each thought, like a passing cloud, need not be grasped. You are not the storm. You are the awareness that sees the storm. And in this simple shift, from identifying with thoughts to observing them, there is peace. There is no need to fight the clutter. That is more noise. Simply breathe, watch, release, again and again. In Zen, we do not silence the mind through willpower, but through presence. When you return to the breath, you return to now, and in the now, most clutter dissolves. You are not your to-do list. You are not your past. You are not your imagined future. You are this breath, and this one. Let them anchor you. Let them clear space. Notice how many of your thoughts are not truly yours, but inherited noise, expectations, judgments, comparisons. Let them pass. The mind does not need to be empty to be at peace. It simply needs space. Spaciousness gives thoughts room to move, to breathe, to settle. Like mud in a jar of water, clarity comes not by shaking, but by allowing stillness. You don't declutter the mind by adding more effort, more analysis, more distractions. You let it be. And in being, there is an unfolding. A flower does not bloom by force. The mind does not settle by pressure. Create stillness not by trying, but by stopping. Stop feeding the noise. Stop chasing the next thought. Let what is be enough. Let the silence speak. Let your breath guide you home. As you allow yourself to rest in this gentle awareness, notice how thoughts continue to arise, yet their grip weakens. They float in, and they float out, like birds in an open sky. You do not need to stop them. You simply stop following them. And this is the essence of letting go. Not pushing thoughts away, but loosening your attachment to them. The clutter of the mind is not in the number of thoughts, but in the energy we give them, the stories we weave around them, the emotions we tie to them. But you are not your story. You are not the endless commentary in your mind. You are the spacious presence beneath it all, a mountain unmoved by passing weather, a mirror that reflects, but clings to nothing. In the Zen way, we begin to simplify not by changing the world around us, but by changing the way we relate to our own minds. With each breath, we let go of one more thing that no longer serves, the regret that repeats itself, the worry that imagines 10 futures, the opinion that hardens the heart. Let it all soften, like snow melting in the warmth of the sun. Let the layers dissolve. Beneath the clutter lies stillness. Beneath the noise lies clarity. Beneath the grasping lies peace. You do not need to go anywhere to find it. You only need to stop running. Let each moment be your practice. When eating, eat. When walking, walk. When resting, rest. Life is not found in the rush to the next task, but in the presence of this one. Begin again. Each breath a gentle return. There is no failure in wandering, only another opportunity to return. Let your life become simple, not because you escaped your responsibilities, but because you met each one with full awareness. The mind quiets not when it is emptied, but when it is focused. And that focus is not tight or strained. It is open, curious, soft. It is a candle in the dark, steady but unflickering. It is the heart of Zen. Let your mind become a quiet room, a sacred space where truth is heard without shouting. Let your thoughts be guests who visit, but do not overstay. Let go, not to lose anything, but to discover what has always been here, waiting in silence. And now, in the stillness you've begun to cultivate, sense how deeply the clutter fades when it is no longer fed by your resistance. The more you chase peace, the more it eludes you. But the more you sit quietly with what is, the more peace finds you on its own. This is the paradox of Zen. Effort without striving, release without rejection. The mind becomes a clear pond, not because it is forced into stillness, but because the stirring ceases. You have stirred the waters long enough. Now, allow them to rest. Feel the ease that returns when you stop measuring your thoughts, when you no longer divide them into good or bad, productive or pointless. All thoughts arise from conditions, memories, impressions, moods, and all dissolve back into silence when left alone. In this moment, you are the witness, not the content. You are the space through which thinking flows. And in recognizing that, you begin to reclaim your power, not by controlling thought, but by resting beyond it. Mental clutter is often born from the illusion of control, the desire to plan and fix the imperfect. But awareness does not need perfection. Awareness simply is. You are not broken. Your mind is not wrong for being busy. But you are free to step back. You are free to choose presence over pressure. You are free to stop clinging to the constant stream. One by one, the burdens fall away. Expectations, judgments, comparisons, regrets. They are not yours to carry forever. Let them rest. Let them go. You do not need to be anything other than what you already are in this exact breath. Feel how liberating that is. No performance, no approval to chase, just presence. This is the sacred invitation of Zen. This is the release of mental clutter, not an escape from life, but a returning to it, fully, simply, and awake. Life is an unfolding journey, a constant flow of change and impermanence. Each day we are faced with new experiences, emotions, and circumstances, and yet many of us attempt to cling to the familiar, resisting the natural flow of life. In doing so, we invite suffering into our lives. But what if, instead of resisting change, we chose to embrace it? What if we allowed the unpredictable nature of life to guide us rather than control us? Today we explore this concept through the lens of Zen philosophy, understanding how embracing life's unpredictability can lead to a peaceful and fulfilling existence. In Zen, there is a fundamental teaching that life is impermanent and always changing. Nothing remains the same, not even for a single moment. This is called anicca in Buddhism, impermanence. It is the recognition that all phenomena, whether they are physical, emotional, or mental, arise and pass away. The river of life flows continually, and no matter how much we try to grasp onto certain moments or outcomes, the flow will continue, and we must move with it. In the Zen tradition, we see the natural world as a powerful reflection of this impermanence. The leaves change color and fall from the trees, the seasons shift, and the mountains wear away over time. Everything is in a perpetual state of becoming, and this is not something to fear or resist. It is something to accept and even celebrate. When we resist the inevitable flow of life's changes, we create suffering within ourselves. The moment you realize everything is constantly shifting, you stop fighting it. This is a crucial moment in the practice of Zen. It is a realization that allows you to relax, let go, and move with the flow of life. Instead of trying to control or predict the outcome of every situation, you surrender to the present moment and allow life to unfold naturally. We all experience change, whether we want to or not. Sometimes, change comes in the form of loss, losing a job, a loved one, or a sense of security. Other times, change comes in the form of new opportunities or unexpected challenges. While these changes are a natural part of life, our resistance to them can create suffering. Zen teaches us that suffering arises when we attempt to hold on to things that are already slipping away, or when we struggle to change with the times. When we lose something we love, our instinct is to resist. We want to keep things the way they were, to preserve the past and the familiar. This attachment to the past creates suffering because the past is no longer present. What we are truly holding on to is an illusion, a memory of something that no longer exists. In trying to preserve it, we prevent ourselves from fully engaging with the present moment and the opportunities that lie ahead. On the other hand, when we embrace the impermanence of life, we are free to experience each moment as it comes. We no longer need to cling to what was or what might be. We become open to what is, and in doing so, we find peace. In Zen, there is a profound wisdom in the concept of flow. The river is a central metaphor in Zen, representing the constant movement and change of life. When we let go of resistance and allow ourselves to flow with the river, we experience life as a series of moments, each one connected to the next. We become more aware of the subtle shifts in our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Rather than fighting against these shifts, we learn to navigate them with ease and grace. Think of the water in a river. It does not fight against the rocks or the obstacles in its path. Instead, it moves around them, adapting to the changes in its environment. The water does not try to control the river's flow, nor does it mourn the absence of the rocks it passes. It simply moves forward, moment by moment, trusting that it will find its way. This is how we can approach life. When we stop trying to control every outcome, when we let go of our need for certainty, we allow ourselves to move more freely with life. We stop struggling against what is, and instead, learn to flow with it. A core practice in Zen is mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment. Mindfulness teaches us to observe the world as it is, without judgment or attachment. It allows us to become more aware of the constant changes happening within and around us. When we practice mindfulness, we cultivate an awareness of impermanence. We see how our thoughts arise and pass away, how our feelings shift with time, and how our circumstances change from one moment to the next. Rather than clinging to any one experience or trying to hold on to a particular state of mind, mindfulness helps us embrace the flow of life as it is. And now, having touched that space of stillness, return again to the rhythm of your breath, the quiet motion of life moving through you. Nothing needs to be different right now. You are not waiting for anything to begin. This is already it. The moment you drop your agenda, the moment you stop measuring your experience, you arrive in a place beyond effort, beyond grasping. In Zen, we do not teach that the world must change for peace to be possible. We simply shift the way we meet the world. And in that shift, even the most ordinary acts become sacred. Drinking tea, folding clothes, tending to a plant. These become places where your awareness can rest, without rushing, without judgment, without needing anything more than what is here. This is how mental clutter is dissolved, not by force, but by presence, by doing one thing completely, by letting go of the urge to do many things half-heartedly, by trusting that in slowing down, you are not falling behind, you are coming home. The world may continue in its hurry, but you are no longer swept away. You are the still point in the turning wheel, the center that watches calmly. In this way, your life becomes a meditation, not separate from your duties or your relationships, but woven into them. Mindfulness becomes not something you practice once a day, but something you return to again and again, like the breath. And when you do, the clutter that once overwhelmed you begins to dissolve. You see the stories for what they are: temporary, repetitive, and not always true. You see the judgments as echoes of an old mind. You see the pressure to be perfect as just another cloud passing through the vast sky of awareness. And you no longer chase them. You sit, you breathe, you let them go. In doing so, you reclaim the sacred space of your own mind, a space not for control or perfection, but for openness, for stillness, for quiet joy. This is the Zen way, not to eliminate thinking, but to see through it, not to reject emotion, but to hold it gently, not to escape life, but to enter it fully, with nothing left out. So continue walking this path, breath by breath, letting every small return be a sacred act of coming back to yourself. Let there be no harshness in your practice, only gentle reminders, like a bell softly rung in the distance, calling you not to somewhere else, but to this moment again. In this moment, you are not your lists. You are not your unfinished plans. You are not the expectations placed upon you, or the ones you've placed upon yourself. You're something far simpler, far more spacious, a field of awareness, open and clear. And in that field, everything is allowed to come and go. Like clouds in a blue sky, like waves upon the ocean. Mental clutter loses its weight when it's seen without identification. A thought is just a thought. A worry is just a ripple. You do not have to build a story around it. You do not have to follow it. When you no longer fight what arises, the mind becomes like a mirror, reflecting clearly, holding nothing. Zen does not ask you to silence the world, but to discover silence within yourself, even as the world moves. The noise may be there, but it doesn't disturb the depth beneath it. Like a mountain untouched by wind, your inner stillness remains. Each moment of noticing is a moment of freedom. Each breath taken consciously loosens the grip of anxiety. And in the gaps between your thoughts, you'll begin to feel a quiet joy, not born of circumstances, but simply of being. A joy that asks nothing and yet gives everything. The joy of a quiet mind, free from pushing, free from chasing. The clutter you once carried will seem lighter, not because it has vanished, but because you are no longer clinging to it. And slowly, a deep trust begins to grow. Trust that nothing more needs to be added. Trust that in letting go, you receive more than you ever could through striving. Trust that this moment, just as it is, holds everything you need to come home to yourself. As you let go of the mental clutter, you will notice that a spaciousness opens up within you. This spaciousness is not empty in a negative way, but full of possibility. It is the space of pure awareness, where the world is seen not as a series of tasks to be completed or problems to be fixed, but as it is, alive, vibrant, and always shifting. It is in this space that you can engage with life deeply, without the need to control or manipulate. There is no urgency here, no striving to be elsewhere, no tension to hold on to outcomes. There is only presence. In this space, your actions are not motivated by fear or anxiety, but by clarity and ease. This is the heart of mindfulness. To act without attachment, to move through your day with an open heart, not burdened by expectations or the weight of past worries. It is like a dancer who moves fluidly, each step perfectly timed with the rhythm of the music, without needing to know the next move. The dancer is not concerned with perfection, only with the present step. So too can you walk through your life, fully engaged, fully aware, and free from the burdens of unnecessary mental clutter. The key to this freedom is not in doing less, but in doing with more awareness. It's in showing up fully for every moment, no matter how small. When you eat, eat with attention. When you work, work with clarity. When you speak, speak with care. Each act becomes a doorway to mindfulness. It is through these ordinary actions that you come to know your true nature, not through any grand accomplishment or distant goal. The beauty of life lies not in achieving, but in fully participating in the now. And as you begin to realize the freedom that lies in simplicity, you will notice that your perception of time also changes. The past and the future, which once crowded your mind, no longer hold the same power. You begin to live in the eternal present, where everything is fresh, where every moment is new, and each breath feels like the first. The weight of old regrets and future fears dissolve in the light of presence. And as the mind begins to clear, you begin to see the world around you more clearly. The subtle beauty of the sky, the warmth of the sun, the intricate details of the trees, these were always there. But only now, in the absence of mental clutter, can you truly witness them. This is what it means to be alive, to experience the depth of life in each breath, each thought, each moment. And so, as you continue on your journey, remember that letting go of mental clutter is not an end in itself. It is a practice, a process, a way of returning again and again to the quiet truth that lies beneath the noise of the mind. It is a return to simplicity, a return to the natural rhythm of being. You do not need to search for peace or happiness. They are always present, waiting for you to let go of the distractions that cover them. They are found in the stillness that you uncover within yourself when you simply stop. Stop chasing, stop grasping, stop seeking, and instead, be. Be with what is. Be with yourself. Be with the world. And in that being, you will discover that all that you truly need is already here. And as you settle further into this simplicity, you will begin to realize that your mind, like a pond, is most clear when it is still. The ripples of thoughts, desires, and worries settle when you stop feeding them with your attention. It is not that the thoughts disappear. They are simply no longer the central focus of your awareness. Like leaves floating on the surface of a pond, they come and go, but they no longer disturb the depth beneath. This is the true nature of the mind. It is naturally clear, naturally still, when allowed to rest. And just as the pond is calm, so too can your life become calm when you stop chasing after distractions and allow yourself to be with what is. In this stillness, you can see things as they truly are. You begin to notice the subtle beauty of life, the play of light on water, the sound of birds in the distance, the scent of flowers in the air. These are not the things that require effort to appreciate. They simply require you to be present, to stop long enough to notice. This is the gift of letting go of mental clutter, the ability to see and appreciate the world as it is, without the interference of unnecessary thoughts. As you continue this practice, you will also notice a subtle shift in your relationship with your emotions. The intensity of your emotional reactions begins to soften. You no longer feel as though you are being swept away by every passing feeling. You begin to see your emotions for what they are: temporary, ever-changing, and not a reflection of your true self. Emotions are like clouds passing through the sky. Some are heavy, some light, but all eventually pass. And just as you don't try to hold on to the clouds, you don't need to hold on to your emotions either. When you stop identifying with them, they lose their grip on you. You can feel sadness, anger, or joy, but you no longer feel controlled by them. Instead, you witness them, allowing them to come and go with the natural rhythm of life. And in this spaciousness, you begin to experience greater freedom. You are no longer at the mercy of your mental clutter. Instead, you become the observer, the silent witness to the flow of thoughts and feelings that arise and pass. This is the heart of mindfulness, the ability to be fully present with whatever arises, without clinging to it, without pushing it away. Whether it is a thought, an emotion, or a sensation, you simply observe it, acknowledging it without judgment. In this way, you begin to create more space in your life. You let go of the need to control or fix, and you allow things to be just as they are. The clutter of your mind begins to dissipate naturally, not through effort, but through acceptance. And as you accept each moment as it is, you begin to feel a profound sense of peace. This is the peace that comes from letting go, not from escaping or avoiding, but from embracing life fully. As it is, each breath becomes an invitation to let go of the past and the future, to let go of the distractions that pull you away from the present moment. And in each breath, you return to yourself. As you continue to practice this simple awareness, you will find that the clutter of the mind becomes less and less. You begin to notice that there is space between your thoughts, moments of stillness where nothing is needed. In these spaces, you realize that everything you've been searching for is already here. The peace, the joy, the clarity, they were always within you, waiting to be uncovered. All that was needed was your willingness to stop and listen, to let go of the clutter that obstructed your view. This is the beauty of Zen. It does not require you to become something you are not. It simply asks you to uncover what is already present, to clear away the distractions, to stop striving and start being. In this simplicity, you find the richness of life, the profound beauty that exists in every moment. As you continue letting go of the clutter in your mind, you may begin to notice subtle shifts in how you approach life. The world around you may start to feel less overwhelming. You may begin to realize that much of the mental clutter you've carried was not yours to begin with. It was a result of the expectations of others, the societal pressures to perform, or the stories you've told yourself about who you should be. These are not your true thoughts, but echoes from the outside world, built up over time. And as you strip away these layers, you begin to reconnect with your authentic self, the self that does not need to strive, the self that simply is. This process is not about becoming someone else, or even about changing your nature. It's about returning to who you truly are when all the distractions are removed. Just as a sculptor chisels away at a block of marble to reveal the statue within, you are chiseling away at the noise and clutter to reveal your true essence. You begin to realize that the simplicity of being is where the power lies. When you stop resisting the present moment and simply accept what is, you begin to say that there is nothing more to achieve. In this acceptance, there is freedom. You are no longer burdened by the expectations of who you think you should be, or by the frantic pace of trying to meet goals that may not even be your own. You become free to simply live, to experience life with an open heart, to be fully present in each breath and each moment. And as you live more mindfully, more simply, you will begin to experience a deeper sense of peace. This peace is not something that you must search for, but something that naturally arises when you stop cluttering your mind with unnecessary thoughts and worries. It is not a peace that depends on external circumstances, but a peace that comes from within, from a place of acceptance and presence. In this peace, you are no longer at war with yourself or the world. You begin to trust the flow of life, knowing that each moment is exactly as it needs to be. There is no need to chase after anything or worry about the future, because you understand that all things are temporary and all things will come and go in their own time. You begin to trust in the simplicity of life. You find that when you let go of mental clutter, you are able to appreciate the small moments, the ones that are often overlooked in the busyness of daily life. A simple conversation with a friend, the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of rain falling on the roof. These moments, so simple and ordinary, become profound when you are fully present with them. It is in these moments that you begin to realize the richness of life that exists all around you, waiting to be noticed. And as you notice more, you become more connected to yourself, to others, and to the world. In this simplicity, you also begin to see how interconnected everything is. The clutter in your mind does not only affect you, it affects your relationships, your work, your health, and your overall experience of life. But as you begin to let go of this clutter, you also begin to see how you can show up more fully for others. You are no longer distracted by the noise in your mind. You are present with your loved ones, with your colleagues, with everyone you meet. And in this presence, you are able to offer the most precious gift you can give, your full attention. This shift in awareness is profound, not only for you, but for those around you. When you are present and clear, your interactions become more meaningful, more compassionate, and more genuine. You are no longer caught up in your own thoughts, but you are fully engaged in the world around you. You begin to listen deeply, not only to the words being spoken, but to the unspoken messages, the body language, the subtle cues that are always present. You begin to hear what is not said, to feel what is not felt, and to respond from a place of deep understanding and compassion. As you continue practicing mindfulness and letting go of mental clutter, you will find that life becomes less about achieving and more about being. You begin to see that true happiness does not come from external accomplishments or possessions, but from the simple act of being fully present in each moment. It is in the ordinary, everyday moments that you will find your peace. And as you continue to live more mindfully, you will discover that life itself is the greatest teacher. Every moment, every breath, every thought is an opportunity to practice presence and awareness. And in each moment, you will find that you are exactly where you need to be. So as you move forward, remember that the key to letting go of mental clutter is not to fight against it, but to simply let it pass. Allow your thoughts and worries to come and go without attachment, and return to the simplicity of the present moment. In this simplicity, you will find clarity, peace, and a deep sense of connection to yourself and the world around you. The clutter will dissipate on its own, and in its place, you will find the true beauty of life. And in that beauty, you will find that you have everything you need, right here, right now. If this message brought you calm, this space is always here for you. Subscribe, return, and walk this quiet path with us, one breath at a time. Until next time, remember, let go or be dragged.